We've got Eurozone debt fears at the forefront. That's seeing the euro dollar lose ground all the way to around about 143. Are you surprised at the kind of resilience the rand is showing in the face of that?
Morning, Alishia. Yes, although the rand did appreciate yesterday in line with euro weakness, certainly not to the extent that one might have suspected. It was helped by the fact that global equity markets were firmer as well as a stronger gold price, and we think those were the key factors propping up the rand yesterday.
Taking a look at event risk today, though, it's considerable in that we've got the ECB launching its coming through with its interest rate decision. The market's pricing in a 25 basis point hike there, but much more interest is going to be paid towards what exactly President Trichet says, right?
Absolutely, Alishia. That is certainly one of the main events that's taking place today, that ECB meeting, and the markets, of course, expecting a 25 basis point increase in that benchmark interest rate. And, of course, much attention will be paid to the press conference that will take place following the announcement. Of course, people will be looking to President Trichet to give some indication of what possible future interest rate hikes may occur in that region.
They're also looking out to see if the ECB is still adamant that the private sector cannot be involved in the Greek bailout, right?
No, absolutely. Yesterday, a large part of what happened in terms of euro weakness was related to renewed concerns over the European sovereign debt crisis. We've seen the Greek situation somewhat resolved, but now attention is turning to other countries that could potentially encounter difficulties going forward, and Portugal seems to be top of that list at the moment.
The data also culminates with the all-important US non-farm payrolls figure tomorrow, data for this week, and all eyes on that. Your broad expectations on that front?
Well, firstly, we'd be looking to today's ADP report to give some sort of indication to what happened to non-farm payrolls and, most importantly, the official unemployment rate for the US. ADP reports expected to reflect an increase in job creation in the US economy, and if that expectation is borne out by the actual release of the data this afternoon, one would be, of course, hoping to see a similar magnitude of jobs created as far as the non-farm payrolls data is concerned, and of course looking to see how that affects the US unemployment rate, which has remained sticky at above 9% for a few months. So of course markets would be hoping to see a bit of a downward tick in that rate.
Oh, of course, you know, the impact on the rand will come through on the euro dollar. To what extent do you see the rand reattaching itself to that euro dollar relationship despite yesterday's divergence that we saw come through?
Well, that would of course depend on other developments, and chiefly we don't have much local data out as far as South African data out. We had reserves out this morning, saw quite a steady accumulation of reserves by the SARB. That might play into extended rand weakness, of course, because it demonstrates that the SARB remains committed to continued reserve accumulation, which in the short term tends to be negative for the rand, even though in the longer term tends to assist with currency stability. So of course that would be one of the key things to watch as far as the rand's movements for the rest of today and headed into tomorrow.